next day trek is going to head up to the north end of the park. And as I said, I haven't been up there for a while. But this is one of the key places where we meet for our programs here at the park. Oh, little Donnie Woodpecker just called to us. And we passed out these binoculars because this is a real peak time. You know, as the leaves are starting to leaf out, we're starting to have the birds returning that have been spending all their winter months down in the either the tropics or the subtropics, or maybe just a couple hundred miles south. But they're coming back now to our northeast Indiana, and there are things that have come back just in the last couple of days. The blue-gray gnatcatcher being one, so that was kind of fun. Saw flicker? Okay, very good, very good. You saw bluebird. All right. Oh, very cool. Now, red-winged blackbirds, they do come back about the end of February. We have some bluebirds now that will spend the whole winter here. But right now is when they're getting active and singing and courting and building their nest, setting up their housekeeping, so to speak. So that's kind of fun to see them in that mode, even though they're kind of scattered shots and views of them all winter long. So hence we got the binoculars. And I'll mention too at this point that we'll do the hike tomorrow morning a little bit earlier. I think it's 8 o'clock, right, on the schedule. And so that'll get us out there when the birds tend to be a little bit more active, when they're really starting to sing. But we don't want to miss any opportunities, so we have the binoculars to pass out at this point. Trail 2 will take us through a variety of habitats, take us through some evergreens, some pines and spruces. And of course, those were planted back in the 1930s and 40s, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. But then we'll be down along the edge of the wetlands. We've got skunk cabbage, which is starting to really flourish right now. And then we'll be mostly in some upland woodlands, oak and hickory forest. And just kind of a nice time to see the changes. We've already seen bloodroot in flower and spring beauties. That's another one, Anna, I'm going to get for the Nature Center. Yeah, Anna and Eric, they're helpers this weekend. What we do at the Nature Center is we have those shelves when you first come in, and we'll have 2 or 3 things on there that people can see if they spend some time out in the park. And we have some skunk cabbage there. We have some spice bush there. We'll see that. And they're going to get some dandelions for us, so we can point that out to our guest. But another one I'm going to get at some point today are some spring beauties, because these are things that, these spring ephemerals are only here for a few fleeting moments, and then, after a couple, 3 weeks or so, they're gone. And you have your wildflower book too, so we'll try to point out some of these. Yeah, they'll be in there. Now, I didn't bring any flower checklist with me, but I do have some bird checklist. Some people like to keep a life list of birds, either that they see throughout their life or maybe in a certain park or a certain state. So would you ladies like a checklist of birds? Okay. You can keep a Michigan list, and you can keep an Ohio list.
We have one from Point Peely, too.
Oh, you've been to Point Peely this year?
Not this year.
Not this year?
Going now.
Yeah, that's a great spot.
I think that will be fun.
I have a map, too. Oh, and then I was pointing this out when we were at the top of the hill. We're getting this trill-like call. That is the very first call, it's kind of early, of a gray tree frog.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Wow.
And, we had spring peepers, and we've had chorus frogs singing for quite some time. This is April 15th now, so we've been having them sing since early March when it got warm. And then Brad, who works with us, said he heard his first toad a couple of days ago.
Toads make noise?
Toads, oh, they do a real high-pitched trill. Kind of a... That's what's called. And then this kind of a slow trill is a gray tree frog. And why it's calling as early as it is, it must just feel really good, I guess.
It is a nice thing.
Yes, it is a nice
I
thing.
got a spring peeper in hand last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you caught one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah?
Just came hopping through our campsite.
Oh, very cool.
Uh-huh.
Because those are difficult to see. They're so tiny.
Yeah.
But that is a loud tree frog up there.
I'm so happy to know about these noises.
Oh, yeah.
I go through life going, what's that noise?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's fun. You hear them enough that you and then if you're lucky enough to see them, then it kind of sticks in your mind. And I kind of liken it to school children. For instance, if the Finleys went into, what school do you go to? Carlin Park? Hendry Park. Yeah, if they went into Hendry Park where there's, 150 kids, and if they heard Anna shout something out or laugh, they'd pick her up instantly because it's a sound you've heard many times. Or if you see Anna among a group of 100 in the distance, just silhouette and the way she moves and the height, you recognize it as Anna Finley. Where, if you didn't see her often enough, you wouldn't. That's the way it is with frogs and birds. People say, "Fred, how'd you know that was a flicker?" You just saw it for a glimpse, but just the way it moved and the silhouette, the shape. You don't always need color. But here's where we're going, if you're interested. To know ahead of time. We're here at the spring shelter right now. We're going to walk out Trail 2, and then when we get to this point here, we're going to head up all the way up to Snow Lake and come back around, back behind the campgrounds. This campground's closed, so it's going to be very quiet back here. And then we'll come back to here, and then we'll kind of double back over this part right here. So they say Trail 2 is 2.2 miles, so it could take us a couple of hours out here. But before we go, what we could do is get a drink at our spring. I mentioned a moment ago, I mentioned the history here. This was built in the 30s and 40s by the same men who planted a lot of these beautiful trees, the Civilian Conservation Corps. And so they made this beautiful spring shelter, which we use as a trailside picnic shelter. And it's so named because of that freshwater artesian well. You can see our friend from Fort Wayne right here. One of many people who come from time to time and bring milk jugs and water jugs and fill them up and take them back home.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wonderful soft water. We'll head down there. And the thing is, he'll fill those jugs and there won't be a bit of sediment in the bottom of the jugs, months later. Where I have well water and, after a while, there's a little rust and sediments there. Yeah.
We've been getting this water, it's probably been about 16 years. My wife, she's been coming up here when she was a little girl. She's 46, 47.
She probably doesn't appreciate you telling us that.
I know, I'm glad she's not here. You better not tell her.
Yeah. All right, blackmail now. Yeah.
No, that's right here is my daughter.
Oh, that's your different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's spring water. That's great.
Yeah, that's right. See what that does? Yeah, it is. 46-year-old woman, this is a testament right here. What's it do for you? Yeah, I'll turn 84 next week, and I've been enjoying the water now for decades. It's just been really good.
It's really good water.
But, people come, as I was telling this gentleman, they come from miles away. There's others who come with pickup trucks or trunk loads and get out their water jugs and things.
People look at us like we're crazy.
Yeah.
But we just love this water.
Yeah.
It stays just as fresh as like a year from now in a jug that it does when you're first taking it out of the ground like that. Because you see all the air bubbles that are still in the jug, and it stays fresh.
Yeah. Neat. Good. I'm glad you enjoy it. Well, enjoy yourself here.
Thanks.
Tell me your name again.
My name's Mark.
Mark? Okay, Mark. Yeah.
And how you got thinking about it, we used to live in New Haven. So we may have met before.
Yeah.
We used to live in New Haven. I live right by the airport, Fort Wayne.
Okay, yeah, because I remember talking to someone from New Haven.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could have been us many years ago.
Very good. Okay, well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye, sweetheart.
You found that spring keeper.
You did? Okay. Let's start this trail here.
You've got the heavy job.
Yeah.
I'm remembering 16 pounds per gallon.
You got him? Is he visible?
Yes, he's a little. He's bigger than the one last night.
More than I want to do.
Where's he at?
He's 2 inches long. If you look straight.
Oh, you know what? That's a wood frog. Yeah, that's a wood frog.
Yep.
You see the mask on his face?
Yes.
Looks like a raccoon face?
Yes.
It tells you he's a wood frog.
Where is he? You have to probably come over
Watch,
here, Anna.
they put the shadow on him. See the shadows, tip of my fingers on him.
I can see him from this.
Yeah, this wood frog, we have some on display at the Nature Center. I reached down there to try to catch him, but I'm sure he'd go back in there harder. But they're kind of a coppery color frog, and they have a black mask on their face.
Very beautiful in the sunlight.
Yeah, it's called the wood frog. And these, when they sing in the springtime, sound like quacking ducks. And we get a whole group of them together. They're really quacking.
Where is he?
Okay,
Hey,
I'm going
I just
to.
lost him.
Is that all the bigger it gets?
Yes,
So it's quite small.
they get a little bit bigger, not too much. Is he gone? Take that leaf out.
Looks like he jumped in.
Oh, I think he slid down into the leaves there. But I tell you what, Nora, we have some on display at the Nature Center. Yeah. We're open 10 to 5, so stop down there and we'll get a good look at one.
Okay.
Okay, everybody's got drinks? Everybody's ready to go?
I'll go back down underground.
Wow, Eric, how'd you ever spot me?
Good eyes, buddy.
I guess.
Yeah. Because the key to that frog is how it blends in. You know, it's that color right there, that coppery color that has those black masks over the face.
You were noticing that about the little spring keeper that hopped away.
Yeah,
Almost last night.
Oh, yeah.
A little lower than it did in October and January. Out on, up on
Yeah,
S6.
we've hardly had any rain or snow at all. Yeah. This one here is a little bit different. This one is, see how it has 4 petals and a cross? That tells you it's the toothwort. The spring beauties, well, they're not open right there. But yeah, Nora has some there. Spring beauties, how many petals are Nora? 5, right? Yeah, they have 5 petals, and you see little pink veins in the petals too. That's characteristic. But when you have 4 petals in a cross like that, you can pretty much bet you have a mustard. And this is called a toothwort. And it has these little teeth-like, if you will, on the leaves. That's the name. And then right there you have the mayapple coming up. If you come back in about Mother's Day or so, that'll be about that tall and big umbrella-like leaves and big flower about that big around in the center.
Look at this thing. Is that the side of a trillium?
It is. Yep. Yep. 3 leaves, trillium. It's kind of fun. There's a lot of things just coming up right there, including a wild geranium will start to come up here pretty soon. And that's just a leaf there. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. There's a ruined anemone starting to come up. So it's truly a rebirth here, certainly, with all the things coming on strong. And of course, the big cabbage-like plants are all the skunk cabbage, and those will get rhubarb in size when they're fully mature.
And they do stink.
They do. They do. They certainly stink. Now, did you see the flicker earlier? Dave saw a flicker. Yeah. We heard one, I guess.
Yep.
Call. And then we had the pileated woodpecker, which sounds very similar. That's that great big woodpecker. And, if we're lucky, we'll get a chance to see one of those too. We finally saw one in the campgrounds, right? First night here, Friday. So, oh, coming right over, we've got a turkey vulture. Very good. See the big wings, and the trailing edge of the wings are that kind of that light color. Oh, here comes a few of them.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Yeah.
And I hear
Yeah.
another one of those early frogs that you were hearing up there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What
Yep.
did you say it was?
The gray tree frog.
Oh.
Yeah. That. Oh, look at that, right over us.
Wow.
4 of them. 4 of them, right? Okay, close your mouths.
Vultures, I was thinking maybe we better move along.
Yeah, that's right, maybe. Yeah, maybe
Still.
that group's looking a little peaked right now. Yeah. Yeah. That one's, the thing about these, I have a bird book too. If you see something that we need to zero in on, that one there we got a good look at. But did you notice, how the vulture, it holds its wings like a V like this. So you think of V, the letter V for vulture, where the hawks and eagles hold their wings out straight. But beautiful time. I was going to stop here too and mention out in the wetlands, see the glow of yellow. And you'll see this all throughout the park right now in the low areas. The spice bush is blooming. So if we get close to one of those, we'll snap it off. But from a distance, it's nice and striking.
Is that the same bush that the spice bush butterfly fly?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Very, very good. They'll go with the sassafras too. That has a nice aromatic leaf. Mm-hmm.
But you're not a big butterfly center here.
We have some butterflies, yes, but not like, say, the tropics or something like that.
You have reverse skunks too, don't you here? Reverse compared to Michigan?
You mean like black, where there should be white and white?
Vice versa.
You know what? We used to be known for skunks at Pokagon back in the 70s and 80s. Yes. but distemper or something got into the skunk population here, and we just don't see them anymore. Yeah, I haven't seen skunks since probably late 1980s. You know, they're throughout the county. We see them all throughout the county, but we just don't see them here in big numbers. So keep your eyes open. Let us know if you see some or smell some. Oh, did you? Here at the park? Oh, good. Good. Oh, they're around there. Hi. Well, I must be there. There's some around there. You know what? You may also be smelling, because they have kind of a musky smell, pungent smell, red fox. And there's a family of red fox somewhere over near the Saddle Barn Toboggan area. Someone saw an adult and 4 kits the other day. Yeah, there's your common bluet right there. Little tiny butterfly. Yeah.
First butterfly I've seen this season.
First one, Heidi? Yeah. Isn't that pretty? That's full grown, too. Yeah, the bluets. What the color of your t-shirt there, actually, sweetheart?
What was the name again?
Bluet. Yeah, B-L-U-E-T. Bluet. But yeah, that's as big as they get. It's funny, I've walked this trail so many times, but each time you walk it, you see something new. Isn't that a perfect home over there?
Oh yeah. Who lives there?
Yeah.
It's behind
I
a
know.
tree.
What do you think you'd live? What do you think would live in there, Eric? What do you think?
Maybe raccoon.
Raccoon. That'd be a great guess. Yeah, that'd be perfect size. That's big enough. You could squeeze a fox or a coyote in there, I would think. A raccoon is a good choice, right next to the campground. Hollow tree.
Yeah.
I never noticed that there before. Either I was looking at something else on another side of the trail, or maybe some plants and things were up there in this way. Yeah, that's a perfect home. Yes?
Where are all your
Deer? Well, they're, this is the hot part of the day, so they're laying down right now. They're more active at dawn and dusk. Probably not too close to the trail. I imagine these trails have been walked on all day since the sun came up, so they're probably on the other sides of hills, laying down, kind of relaxing. That's the thing is, the vegetation is starting to come out and come back. They could be not very far from us too, and just laying down motionless. And it's their nature to stay quiet as we move by. If we got close to them, then the deer would jump up and take off. But you're staying in the park tonight yet, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you get out on the roadsides towards sunset and watch. Yeah. If you don't see them here, drive down any country road here in Steuben County and drive slowly down the roads, because they're right at the road's edge. I know. But that's a nice patch of spring beauties, isn't it? Right up to there. Look at that. Yeah, if the Earth's a little bit tilted, I'm seeing shadows from these vultures.
Yes.
Boy, I think an airplane's going over or something. But when the sun hits these south-facing slopes, that's where you get the initial blast of spring wildflowers and greenery. So far we've seen hepatica. No, we haven't seen hepatica yet, have we?
I thought that was the same as bloodroot.
No, bloodroot, that's two different things. Yeah, bloodroot has that little clasping leaf. So hepatica has these liver-shaped leaves. We'll see some before the hike's over. And purplish flowers, sometimes pink. We got spring beauties, bloodroot. What else do we have?
Marsh buttercup.
You see it, marsh marigold, have you, this trip?
At the spring.
Oh, the skunk cabbage. Get a buttercup.
Flowers, and I looked it up.
They were next to the skunk cabbage.
Oh boy, I missed them. The yellow marsh marigolds. Oh, okay. Well, point them up to me when we get back. I missed those.
It wasn't a marsh buttercup, huh? Yeah.
Well, there are buttercups, but they don't usually flower quite yet. But the marsh marigolds was about the size of a quarter. Yeah, let's look at that when we get back. And, that's the thing about wildflowers. People have, marsh buttercup could very well be the name of it in many locations. You get a variety of names for the same plant.
Like fish.
Yeah, you see too that the anthers are pink too. See that? You know the anthers, that's the male part of the flower. So you got pink veins, and then you have these little pink anthers, the very tips there. So when you get in a biology class, when you get into high school, you study flower parts. You got pistils and stamens and anthers, and those are all parts of the flowers that reproduce and make more flowers. So Claytonia virginiana, you go back to fellow classmates at Headley Park and tell them you saw some of those. But when you get down low, they really stand out, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes,
Beautiful. You know, it's kind of fun. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to sacrifice just one of them. So this is a little activity. Take your binoculars and hold them upside down.
Oh yeah, I will do that.
Oh, you've done that before? And it acts like a magnifying glass. Do you see, Eric?
Oh.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, binoculars upside down will magnify it. So you can see those pink anthers standing up.
Yeah.
Now the wind's blowing this pretty good, so. God, Mr. Wooley had one too many cups of coffee today.
Or I could just look at the back of Eric's head here.
There you go. He's got dirt behind his ears, Mom?
I didn't look there.
Wow.
Did you get it? Is that Mama Chuck?
Close.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
You can actually see the texture of that
Yeah.
petal.
Here you go, Nora. You want to try?
I did win.
You did one? On the ground? Yeah. Okay. Did you want that? Well, I can smell the evergreens. Can you smell them? Pines?
Lush fungus.
Look at that. Fungus looks like.
Oh, yeah. Boy. Let's see. What's it next to? I guess a little cherry tree. While we're looking at this too, I'm hearing a real high pitch of like a kinglet behind us. Yeah, I'm not sure what kind it is. It is a fungus, certainly. Yeah, good eyes. Is it on that piece of wood?
Oh, yep, yep, on some rotten wood.
That might be just right next to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just right next to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, some type of, looks like it may have been similar to those puffballs.
Yeah.
And how it's kind of cracked open. You see all the black spores on my fingertips?
Yep. It looked like
Definitely a
white
fungus.
tire rubber.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean, that's a color.
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact name of it though. You heard that high pitch?
Oh,
There it goes, right
there.
there.
Another one.
Okay, it just landed in this pine right here. There it is. See it flitting around?
You
Yeah.
said it's a kinglet?
Yeah, those are kinglets. See, they're little tiny birds and they're flitting their wings real fast. Look, see, here comes another one. Looks like there's a flock, about half a dozen of them here. Now these won't nest here. They're just passing through. Look, there's another one. It's like the 6th or 7th that's flown into this pine tree. Yep. Boy, if you can get them in your glasses, that's.
Are they smaller than a chickadee?
They are. I'll show you a picture on here pretty soon. We have a ruby crowned kinglet and a golden crowned kinglet. And if they come down low enough where they'll tilt their heads where you can see them. Sometimes you make these sounds, Eric, that goes psh, 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 like that. The birds come down closer to you. Psh, 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 psh.
You just called the turkey vultures.
Yeah. Are they up there too? Yeah. Right. There's a picture of them right here. See how tiny and diminutive they are?
Yeah.
Psh, 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 psh. They love these little evergreens when they pass through. This is an ideal time to see them. Both kinglets flick their wings, it says. A tiny stub-tailed birdlet is the way they describe their ruby. The way they describe their. And the golden crown will have some lines above the eye, a white line and a dark line through the eye. And the ruby crown kinglet will have a little white eye ring. Oh, they are. Okay, I'm hearing toads now. Hear that trill in the distance? Those are toads calling. Here's one a little closer to the ground.
And you haven't lost anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's that spice bush right there. And that's as big as the flowers to get. And you know what I might do is I'll scratch this twig right here. Yeah, there you go. You want to come up and smell that, Anna? Okay, smell good?
Spicy.
And they do use this for tea, a little spicy tea. A few young green branches and steep it in real hot water. And then
What
the
does it
leaves,
taste like?
spicy. It's like spice bush. Yeah, the leaves will be real succulent, real dark green. And then in the fall, where the flowers are, you get the fruits, and they'll be bright red berries, just brilliant red as your cap there. Just brilliant. It's funny, they're up this high. Usually it's a lowland tree, but sure there must be a vein of some moisture in through here. You know, you mentioned the burns. This will be a good study throughout the year. You know, we burnt this side of the trail, but didn't this. You know, you're seeing wildflowers and things coming back. Well, there's a Hepatica right there. Coming up through the ashes.
It looks the same, except it's purple. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Six petals.
It has 6 petals, and sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're real deep purple, sometimes they're kind of pinkish,
White? Any white?
and sometimes they're white. Mhm.
Okay, because we saw.
Yeah. But see, we had this fire here, and you know, we had the big fires in Yellowstone years ago. They found that years after that, you know, they started seeing plants again that were long since gone, but they were released by the fires. But this is the one right here that we're trying to get rid of through burning. It's that Japanese barberry. It's real, it can be aggressive and kind of take things over. So you see this one here, the fire pretty much did it in, where on the other side of the trail it's still flourishing where we didn't burn. Now, that's not to say this is completely dead, but maybe after a year or two of burning, it'll kill that. And then coming up underneath it, you'll have May apples and Hepatica and the things that are supposed to be here. So this is a real good example of why we do this burning. There's other places in the park where we burnt one side of the trail but not the other, and it's really dramatic to see later in the growing season how much more improved the area is. Looks kind of drastic right now, doesn't it?
Doesn't look like it lasted very long.
The fire?
Fire.
No, we did it on a day where there was enough wind to create the fire and move it, but not so much to intensify it to where it was deadly to other things. There's your pale blue Hepatica there. Remember the real deep purple ones, Virginia? There's some pale blue to nearly white ones, Hepatica.
That's what we saw, right?
Yeah.
Is it crossbreed?
Anemone. Too early?
The other colors?
Well, it's the same species, so you might have some cross-pollination. I like the size of those. Those are deeper blue, but even bigger petals. Kind of in amongst the spring beauties. Well, look at this patch right here. You can see the leaves here too. Let me come around the camera.
And these disappear in a few more weeks.
Yeah, the leaves will be covered up, but the leaves have these kind of a liver lobe shape to them, and kind of a liver-like look too, kind of a brownish look. Hence the name Hepatica. You think of things in your body, the hepatic vein, or if you have hepatitis, a liver problem. It's a lot of things that look like parts of our body or things that may help us with certain ailments will get named after those things. So we have Hepatica, beautiful flowers and the liver-lobed leaves. Yeah, we have some oaked out. That's a nice big red oak right there. That great big one. That's a red oak straight ahead of us. Correct, yeah, the pines and spruces, those are all planted. It's really dry right now. If we had some moisture, this would be a great spot for mushrooms. Yeah, look at those deep blue ones there, Virginia. Aren't those pretty? Hepatica. You know what that might be? Or is it chipmunk? Yeah. You know, your cardinal does, female cardinal does do that. In fact, I see him. See the end of the log over there? See that whitish thing on the end of the log? That's him.
Then why do they chirp?
It's kind of it's an anxiety thing. We're here, so it chirps to kind of, it's nervous.
What about, is that the same reason a deer stops its foot?
Yep. And sometimes they blow air out their nostrils. It's to get you to do something, to figure you out. Yeah. And they also do that when the aerial predators are flying over. They do this kind of a clucking sound, kind of a, you heard that in the woods before? Take some good eyes there, Anna. Do you see it?
Look at that big log right down there.
Can you get that in the camera? Can you, Matt, from that distance?
Yep.
Right, very cool. Yeah, classic behavior of a chipmunk. And nervousness.
This under the log.
Good. Look at that little hillside of toothwort there. That is something. That's something you just don't. So you know, I'm gonna use your. Go ahead, stand right there, Anna, because I'm gonna use you to kind of block the sunshine from your direct. Like this beautiful red oak there. Looks like it may have been zapped by lightning at one time. See the streak going down it? That one makes sense. Kind of a big monarch out here in the point of land.
When do the warblers start? May?
Actually, I heard Doug mentioned south of Fort Wayne, he had a couple of warblers already.
Oh, really?
Yesterday.
Okay.
So we could be getting some of the early ones very soon.
Well, and Heidi was mentioning the red buds are blossoming down there, so they're about a week.
Yeah, so, yeah. I usually think like the first, second week of May is being good time for the warblers. Now here we are, middle of April already. Not far. So some of the early ones, yeah, we can start seeing those pretty soon. Oh, there's some bloodroot. We had a patch of that when we first started. Very delicate flowers. You know, this is perfect. You're here middle of April. Because, you know, if it rains tomorrow night, as they're possibly predicting, you know, water droplets just hitting those petals will cause them to fall if it's at the right time. So look at that. Yeah, very short-lived. They refer to all these spring flowers. They may have used the term in some opening comments as spring ephemerals, you know, something short-termed. And they're with us for a short time, and then things start to leaf out above them. The light doesn't penetrate as it does now. So yeah, the light just penetrates the forest floor. Well, as these, you see, these are starting to bud now, the understory bushes. They're budding pretty good. And so those will leaf out, and then the last ones will leaf out over the canopy at the very tip top of the.
Yeah, you can. Mom.
Well, I just look at this tree. You know, we're really concerned about the ash trees.
Did you ever see those emerald flowers?
Yes, we had some in the park there, and they're dead though. There's a wood, but this is an ash tree here. You tell these ash tree, the bark has kind of a diamond pattern to it.
Oh, yeah.
It forms little diamonds. But then the real telltale features, when you go clear to the top, you'll see how the branches are opposite one another.
How come it's scraped out, the bark? You see the flat skin?
Yeah.
There's a fungus that gets on the bark and
really?
causes that. Yes, it kind of eats away at the bark. It doesn't hurt the tree. But the emerald ash borer, that's a nasty thing. That could really do damage in the tree. But the nice thing about this immediate area is you have beech tree there, red oak there, red oak, beech, ironwood, white oak. So you have a variety of things. But the sad thing is, and some municipalities were, when the Dutch elm disease came through, we planted all ash trees in some cities and villages. So now they'll lose all their trees.
A woodpecker made that?
Yeah, pileated woodpeckers. They'll when they make a hole, it's not round; it tends to be oblong, rectangular.
Yeah.
And this is obviously done long enough that you start to see scar tissue growing around it. And obviously the tree is long since. Wow, that was interesting.
How long does the pilated hole, how deep is the hole? I mean, could you reach your hand down there and see if anyone's in there?
Yeah.
You first, Fred.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's hollow. Yeah, listen. Yeah, the tree is hollow. So you can look down there. Yeah, the sun is. Yep. And, these are all cavities here, so it's like a little apartment building. And a nice sassafras right there next to it, green stems. Yeah. That'll smell nice. You break that little stem, have a nice smell. But something about sassafras, I don't know if it's a sap or what, but pileated woodpeckers just love the sassafras tree. Go to some of our southern parks, there's great big stands of sassafras that are littered with.
And are they usually at the boundary of a field and woods, sassafras, or not? Or are they usually in?
Sometimes, because they're considered invader species. You don't see them in real deep woods, they're right on the edges. That's the young one right there. Okay. There you go. Oh boy. What's it remind you of?
Lemon.
Lemons, there you go. Some people your age say Fruit Loops cereal. Oh yeah, yep.